Hey Mrinal, congratulations on your 740. Finally got there. So you got a Q50 B41, right?
Yeah.
So how did you feel when you finally scored that 740 number? Because you've scored a 710 as well. How did that feeling
Yeah.
come out?
So actually, when that I submitted on that, I actually my order was quant, verbal, IR, and then EW. So when I finished my EW, when I clicked submit there, I actually closed my eyes for 2 minutes. I was like praying ki at least I should get above 710. And then when I opened my eyes, I saw that 740 on that screen. That like I instantly went like, yes, this is what I wanted. 740. Then I looked at my sectional scores, which was Q50 and V41. So both of them were pretty good. I looked at my IR score also. IR also I wanted to improve because in 710 I got IR 5 out of 8, and now I got 7 out of 8. So it was a very pleasant moment at that time. I just went like, yes, this is the score that I wanted all the time.
Perfect. So you started off with a fairly, I would say, usual score of about 26, 27 on verbal, right? And then you sign on with EG Mat. And I think um, our engagement was also very interesting. So let's talk about the first part where you actually accessed the course. You started off with verbal. Take me through what worked for you, to get you to the 710. We'll, of course, talk about the 740 bit too.
So basically, when I started off with my journey, I saw that I was at V26, V27, and I always wanted to get to V40, V41. So I actually did not know how to proceed with that. What should I do to get there? I thought my English was pretty good because in 10th till school we had that English subject till 12th standard. We had that English subject. I scored pretty good in that, and I was like, my English is pretty good, and I should be able to get to V40, V41 if I just uh, revised those concepts and went through those all the concepts of verbal. So that is what I planned did for the first 3 months. I started my preparation in January 21, and I started preparing. I again by Feb I started giving sectional test for verbal from GMAT Club. So there I saw that I did not see any improvement. I was just 33, 34, and which was quite disappointing since I was studying for past 2 months. And then I was going through the blogs on GMAT Club, and I saw that eGMAT had the best verbal course that they were saying. So I decided to try it out. I got in touch with one of your people. I think Dhruv was his name.
Hmm.
He actually told me to go ahead and give a free mock from eGMAT. There again, I gave that test. I think I got a 37 there. And then he dived into the analysis. Like he showed me the numbers that this is your section which you are weak in, and this is the topic in that section that you are weak in.
Hmm.
Basically, I was very much impressed by the analysis that was done on the number on my verbal score. I had not seen that analysis in my past 3 months of preparation. I did not know that this is my weak topic, but I was studying randomly before that. I had no direction. How should I proceed with that? So I just went ahead, and Dhruv told me that this is where you need to improve and this is how you should plan. And then instantly, that day itself, I went ahead and subscribed to that EGMAT course. I
Hmm.
went through the quant section first because I felt that quant it was easier to get to Q50 and it will take me lesser time as well.
Hmm.
Because since I'm from engineering background, it was much easier
Yeah.
for me. So I then went through the quant section. I think I completed it in 1.5 months, and
Hmm.
then I switched into verbal.
Okay, I'm going
And
to stop you here. I'm
ver-
going to stop you here. So you've seen the quant course then, and you've seen the quant 2.0 course now. As a person who's, of course, really good with quant, what do you think is the main difference?
actually, to be honest, I haven't gone through much of the Quant 2.0 course. I completed that, and I just went through the concept wherein I was failing in the mock test, but I did not actually go through the Quant 2.0 completely from ETMI.
So you went through different parts of it, right? So you've gone through diagnostic quizzes for number properties, for example. Then you've done a little bit of algebra and
Yeah.
geometry as well. This was very different from the old one. So, what, in your opinion, was the big difference from the old one to the new one? That's my question.
I think when I started, diagnostic test when all were still there. Matlab, I started, I think, from Quant 2.0 only, because I remember giving the diagnostic test, and then I especially I was weak in geometry and all that, so I used to get a lower score there,
Hmm.
and then I used to give the application files and the practice files, and then
Hmm.
I saw the score improvement there. So actually, I had that diagnostic
The
test
expert
earlier itself.
architecture, yeah, got it, got it.
Uh,
So let's talk a little bit about the verbal piece now, right? So you finished off quant and then you moved to verbal. What are your takeaways from the different courses, SCC, RRC?
so my first thing would be that I thought that my English was pretty good because I scored good in school.
Hmm.
But when I went through the EGMAT concept, and they were telling me the basics of each of the concepts there, then I realized that I did not know so much about English and about all the, suppose for example, verb tense. I did not know that past perfect were used to denote order of events, right? So that is what helped me a lot, Chinky. It went right into the basics of English, right into what are the verb tenses, how do you identify them, all that. So that is what I think pretty much helped me to get my basics clear. And obviously, once the foundation is pretty good, then the building would obviously will be very strong. So that is what I think helped me a lot in all of the structures, like sentence correction, especially the basics. CR में I'll say in the CR section I'll say कि the pre-thinking part. Like for example, earlier what I used to do, I used to run through the question stem. I used to run through the options and then evaluate the options one by one to see which of them fits my argument.
Hmm.
So that is what I used to do in CR. And similarly in RC, I used to run through the passage quickly
Hmm.
and then come to the answer choices and see what the answer choice is talking about. And in RC especially, I used to get back to that passage again and see ki what is the specific thing that the question is asking and then answer that. So
Hmm.
basically here my time was also getting wasted and I was not pretty confident with my answers ki this is what is needed from me. But when I gave the EGMAT course, they introduced me with pre-thinking for both RC and CR, and there it helped me immensely. Like for example, now I used to I give some extra seconds to reading that question and understanding what the question is all about. Identifying the conclusion was the most important part for me, because sometimes what used to happen is I used to strengthen the premise or something like instead of strengthening the conclusion, I used to weaken the conclusion. So that is what used to happen earlier. But when I started the pre-thinking concept, I identified the conclusion and then thought about okay, I want to strengthen the conclusion. This is the conclusion. I need to strengthen this. So any answer choice that strengthen this would be my correct answer. So that is one step. And second would be pre-thinking. If this is the strengthening question, I need to think about the assumption. The strengthening framework helped me a lot in understanding this is the assumption and I need to strengthen or weaken this assumption. So that is what will be in my answer choices. So again, that saved me time in my answer choice analysis there. So that was the best part for CR and RC as well. RC specifically the passage summaries. I did not used to make passage summaries earlier. So when I started making passage summaries and then the main idea of the passage, that very much helped me in identifying the main idea or the author's purpose for writing that passage.
Hmm.
That was the most important thing in that passage, which helped me get a gist of that passage as well and helped me summarize that easily. So that was the most important part in RC.
Got it. Got it. So I think more than just doing the course well, I think the other piece was that you use Colranium and its entire arsenal, right? So take me through how you use Colranium. What are the things that you really liked about this as a platform to practice? Because you practiced other places as well on GMAT Club and so on and so forth. What do you think are the main values that we kind of imbibe?
Yes. So basically, when I used Scholaranium, I had almost completed my, suppose for sentence correction, I completed that module and went to Scholaranium. There was cementing quizzes, which helped me cement my medium level questions and then get to the hard level questions. So this was something which was pretty unique to me because earlier I just used to randomly pick up questions and solve them. I did not know ki this is where especially the three-stage process that GMAT teaches, right? First is learning the concept, second is cementing those concepts, and third is refining those concepts, right? So that process helped me pretty much because earlier I just used to do step one and jump to step three, wherein I did not know how that is done. I randomly solved questions. I did not have any direction. But when I went to Scholaranium, there was a step-by-step process that I needed to follow to get to that ideal score that I wanted to reach. So I started from the medium level questions wherein they strengthened my concepts. When I got confident, कि I know the concepts, then it became easier for me to get that hard level questions wherein they test more the application of the concepts rather than the concepts themselves. Right. So that is where it helped me because once my concepts were strengthened, like I said, once my foundations were clear, my building was pretty strong there. That is how I used my Scholaranium very effectively. I got to the medium level questions. I did my analysis, understood where I was going wrong, what were the concepts that were going wrong, and then I got to the hard level questions. Also, like we discussed in our one of our meetings, some of the topics were pretty weak for me. For example, inference, right? So I went into those inference concept files again, understood where I was going wrong, tried to improve that, get to that medium level accuracy, and then get to those hard level questions. So basically, Scholaranium helped me a lot understanding what was my weak topic, and then work on it, get that up to a mark, and then move ahead from there.
Gaurav, I think very well summarized there. That was one part of your prep. And then I think there were a few hitches when you had to book your GMAT date, your account also expired. And I think at that point in time, we gave you that kind of free extension. A lot of people don't know that we do give like a few days of free extension to students who book their GMAT date. It's not, again, a money making business for us. It's very important for you guys to kind of give the exam with the support that you have from the account. So I think that happened, and I think your exam also got cancelled, and then eventually you scored 710. How important is it to have, let's say, mentor support or someone like me, kind of just helping you through and through, even when you did not have the course?
So basically, I would say that having a mentor for a GMAT preparation is the most important thing. Because like I said earlier, I was alone preparing. I did not know what were my weak topics, how should I proceed in my preparation, and like what is the structured approach that I should take for my GMAT preparation. I was just going randomly doing questions. I do not know. I was just analyzing those questions one at a time. I did not know this is what is making me weak in this area and all that. So that is where I think a mentor comes in and says, ki, no, this is not how you're supposed to go. This is the defined path. This is what you should hear. These are your milestones across the way, and you should hit those milestones first before you look at your final goal. So that is what I think the role of the mentor helped me a lot understanding those step-by-step milestones, and then finally hitting my ultimate goal that was 730, 740 score. I think
Got it.
that was the most important part in understanding the path ahead.
Understood. So you scored a 710, and then of course, I mean, you were not super happy about it. And I wrote back to you saying that, listen, it would be very helpful if you can drop me a GMAT Club review, and I will make sure that you get to edit it later. So now is that time that you do edit that review.
Yeah.
Take me through that 30-point improvement retake plan, right? What were the key elements that we focused on, and that kind of helped you to jump? And this was, I think, about 16-20 days back, not too
That
long
was
ago.
29th July when I gave my first attempt, and
Hmm.
17th August was the 740 wala attempt. So
Got it.
between those days, I reached out to you on 29 itself. I was slightly disappointed with my score, and you said ki you should ideally look at a second attempt if you think you can improve that score. So for quant, I was pretty satisfied because I got Q50 V35 in my 710 attempt. So I was pretty happy with my quant score, and I thought ki improving quant score from here might be slightly
True.
difficult,
Yeah.
and hence what I did was I focused primarily on verbal during my 16-17 days ka period. So here, what I did was I did not have my EGMAT ka access then, but I did have my error logs and I did have a GMAT club with me, and also you were there to help me support what should be my next step here. So we had discussed ki what should be our next step here. So you guided me. We should look at GMAT Club ka verbal test specifically because that will help me enhance my verbal skills.
Yeah, because you
I
had
went
nothing
through.
else left. I think you had exhausted pretty much
uh,
everything out there.
yeah. So basically, I gave around 2 to 3 GMAT Club cats for verbal, and those ranged between V37 to V40. So that there I when I started from V37, no, I started from V31 in that
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
uh, GMAT Club GMAT Club cat. After I gave my attempt, got a V31. I was very disappointed with V31. Then I went back, understood what all questions did I get wrong, what is the broad structure of the questions that I was getting wrong. So I found out I was going wrong in CR, I was going wrong in RC. RC specifically, I went a little bit more wrong because I think I got overconfident then. Ki RC was I
Yeah.
was getting around 80-85% accuracy in RC. And in that specific cat, I went down to 50-60% accuracy. That is when there I thought ki I was getting pretty overconfident in RC. And then I kept reminding myself of the concepts that EGMAT taught me, like pre-thinking in CR, passage summaries, and the overall summary for RC, and all the 7 8 errors in SC. So those are all the things that I kept reminding myself. I read. I did not read too much concepts, but then I kept solving questions. I understood where I went wrong. I gave the cats 2 or 3 cats. Then from 31, I went to 37 to 40, and I was pretty happy with my progress, seeing where I was going wrong. What are the types of questions that I need to understand, and then I gave mocks. Then I gave a mock, Manhattan mock. So there I similarly I got 710, which said, matlab, I have heard that Manhattan mocks are slightly difficult mocks, and getting a 710 on that mock is, matlab, you will get 20 plus 20 plus 10 20 marks ahead of what you'll get in Manhattan is what I heard. So I was okay with 710 for Manhattan. Then then again I gave a Veritas mock. Veritas mock mein I got around 720, 730 again, which was okay for me. And then again I gave the official mock. So I had one more official mock which was left with me,
The
and I
final
gave
one.
that
Yeah.
2 days before the final exam date.
Yeah.
So there I got a 770, which was Q50 and V44. There I almost got all of my sentence corrections questions right. Around 2 CR questions wrong and 3 RC questions wrong, uh, which was okay for me. And I was pretty confident with SC because SC mein I got 100% and none of them were like flukes.
Yeah.
I thought about it that this is what the correct structure should be, and this is what the verb tense is there. This is the pronoun error there. I eliminated all of the options pretty solidly, and then arrived at the correct answer choice. So that is why I was feeling pretty confident with SC because I did not have any flukes there. CR and RC, I was pretty okay with 2 or 3 questions wrong in both of the sections. So that is where I got V44, and then I was satisfied that at least I'll get V40 plus in the final exam.
Yeah.
So that is what I did in the 16-17 days.
Got it. So I think there's a lot of value in understanding that one, you kind of leveraged your error logs that you had from the time that you worked with us, stuck by the EGMAT learning techniques even while you did not have the course, or did not practice like crazy, That's another important part. And then you kind of simulated the test environment by taking a few mocks to understand where your verbal score is at. And then, of course, you analyze those mocks. So I think that kind of constitutes a good improvement plan, specifically in verbal, where we never knew what happened because you took the online exam, right? So essentially, I mean, that was a very difficult puzzle to solve, that V35 to V40. How do you go from here? So I think a very, very big deal to solve that puzzle. And congratulations again on 740. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.